Welcome to Fantasy First Down. Today we're going to be setting some lineups for our leagues, and we're also going to be checking our percentages and checking our opponents' teams. All right, here we are starting off with our Detroit team. I made some changes and I decided to start Tony Pollard over DeAndre Swift just because of the difficulty of their opponents. Denver is a little bit easier of an opponent than Minnesota. And Tony Pollard, I just feel really confident in. Wow. DeAndre Swift, I kind of drafted him because I needed a guy who could start if he needed to. But we've got a really good wide receiver core, so we won't be changing that out. Got Lamar Jackson, won't be changing that out. Tyler Warren versus Tucker Kraft is a tough one, but Tyler Warren's playing Miami, whereas Tucker Kraft is playing Detroit, so we'll leave Tyler Warren in for game one. We've got the Cardinals defense to start off our streaming. They're playing New Orleans. And then we've got Tyler Bass, who's projected for 8 points. All right, we currently are projected to lose, actually, by 6 points, but that's probably because of the tight end and then them having such good running backs. But I think Chase Brown should be able to perform very well in week 1 against Cleveland. And meanwhile, Bucky Irving might have some trouble against Atlanta, and Saquon might have some trouble against Dallas. But it's going to be a tough matchup. Our opponent also has the big QB build, but they got a tight end a little earlier than us in Njoku. They've also got a couple of good receivers, but their team is more focused on running backs. They've got Nico Collins and Courtland Sutton, and then Pearsall Waddle on the bench. But they do have a big three running backs in Saquon, Bucky Irving, and Kenneth Walker. They've got the Eagles Dallas against Dallas, the Eagles defense against Dallas, and Jake Elliott. I'm hoping that turns into a game where Dallas scores a lot and they win. But that's the only Thursday game, so we can switch to our next league, our Denver team. In this roster, I actually did not make any changes. Just felt like we have such a strong starting lineup. And week 1, I don't think I'm willing to bet on any of my backup receivers or running backs, like Isaiah Pacheco and Jameson Williams, to put them in over DJ Moore or Derrick Henry. So we've got a very good week 1 lineup, pretty locked in. We've got a 50-50 chance playing another team with a big QB build. They have McCaffrey and Henderson at running back. They have Brown, Harrison, Worthy. Not a big fan, but they do have Tyler Warren, which I like. Seahawks defense, Jake Elliott. I'm wondering if the Cardinals defense is available. It is not. They're added by BBT. That is Buns, maybe? I'm not sure. Hold on. No, they're not. I suppose I could just look at the defense. It's unlikely that they have them on their bench. Yeah, it's Kamish. Yeah, I don't think that they'd be willing to trade for that, but the good news is after week 1 against the Raiders, Patriots defense should have smooth sailing for the next couple of weeks. So that's pretty much it. Their bench is also looking very good. They've got Ridley, Judy, Parasol at wide receiver. Not a big fan of picking up Thornton, but if he's your last pick, then that's your choice. So if you believe in him, you should take him. But it's mostly in who you believe in late in the draft. I personally don't want to take someone that late. And now we're on to Cleveland. Here in Cleveland, this Cleveland League, we've got Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Amari Hampton, Emmanuel St. Brown, Mike Evans, Evan Engram, Jameson Williams, Patriots defense, and Tyler Bass. Here I was considering a couple of roster changes, but I didn't make any of them. First of all, I could have put in Pickens or Parasol over Jameson Williams, but I just think that Philadelphia for George Pickens, they've got a really good defense. And even though that does mean they have a good offense and he could get a lot of passes, I'm just not in. Ricky Parasol, they're probably going to crush Seattle. And if Philadelphia crushes Dallas, then there's not going to be much of a use for either of them. Meanwhile, Jameson Williams, he's playing Green Bay, which that should be a good game. They might be winning, but I just believe in him more than either of the other guys. And until they prove that to me, I'm not willing to put them on my starting lineup. Meanwhile, at running back, I could have also slid in Tony Pollard over Amari Hampton, but I think with Najee Harris coming back from an injury, Amari Hampton might get a couple more touches, and this is one of the situations where I'd like to see how it shakes out week 1. If not, he can ride my bench until he starts to produce. We have a 51% chance of winning here. We're playing a team with a big tight end in George Kittle. I really like George Kittle, but their starting lineup, let's see who they are. Brock Purdy, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Brian Thomas, Matthew Golden, and Mika Egbuka. I can already tell that they don't really have that strong of a wide receiver room. Yeah, they really don't. They have Rashee Rice, but he won't be playing for the first 6 weeks. So that could be a problem for them. But I like my team because it's very well-rounded, as opposed to having almost no great receivers on their team. I mean, they still do have Matthew Golden and Emeka Egbuka, who could go off, but I just doubt that both of them are going to have incredible games. All right, that's about it for our start and sit for our leagues in week 1. So, real quick, I'm going to please ask you to subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot and it'll help you get more great videos like these. Thank you, and see you next time on Fantasy First Down.